On this episode of the Fizzy Speaks, I am discussing the mirrors. Mirrors is a piece I initially penned down to share as a written post. And while I was writing it, I had a few discussions and I realized this is something that we should discuss on the podcast. Joining me to discuss mirrors is none other than the Juliet Godwin, OAP extraordinaire, money maker, and table shaker. She's here to share her perspectives on mirrors. Juliet, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Hosting this wonderful podcast episode is none other than the physical game himself, the him among the others. You know, I am him. Get it? Salim Mohammed Tarfa is my name. I am the Fizzy back again with another episode. You guys are amazing. Let's get into it. Yes, Juliet, how are you doing?
I'm alright.
Yeah. It's been a while we actually recorded any episodes together. I've actually not recorded with you in a while, and that's for so many reasons. Logistics. You've traveled the world. Recently came back from the coast of the west coast, actually, the west coast of Africa. Yeah, aka she just left Lagos. Okay, so so welcome back to Nigeria and everything. So how's your trip?
Lagos is still Nigeria, young man.
That's good.
Thank you.
So Lagos still Nigeria. Okay, so this is it. Now, mirrors actually came to me. I was having this conversation, and I realized that as much as people say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are and things like that, it just goes to show that, or say that, there are people or there are things or there are moments that mirror us. What is a mirror? A mirror is any surface that is reflective, right? That reflects light and then casts an image of an object. So in a sense, I realized that there are people around me that have been mirrors for me. There are people around me that have been reflections, of me or of something about me to me, that make me see myself from a perspective I wouldn't normally see. And these mirrors are important because they help in our mindfulness journey. And sometimes the mirror is a place. You can be in a place and you realize how much of you is in that place. So for example, if you're the kind of person that you see a mirror of yourself in Lagos market, Balogun market, for example, that just tells you something about yourself. Like, you need to calm down. Some people, depending on where you are in the world, there are places you're going to go to and you're going to see yourself in not just a person but the people, but in the way, in the culture, in the last year I went for a wedding in Gombe. It was my friend's wedding, my brother actually, my broski. So it was his wedding, and I've never been to Gombe before. I'd never been to Gombe before. That was my first time, and so I went there, and I have to say, if there's anything that give Gombe, especially the GRA area, like, it's so clean. Like the streets, I don't know whether people don't litter there, but if maybe they do and maybe someone cleans it up, I think someone does clean it up, because I went to the market, to get some like stuff, and I remember it wasn't as clean.
Okay.
But the point for me is that I was able to see a reflection of myself in the
area
because it was so clean. Like, why? I'm not saying I'm Mr. Clean. Wow. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I love it when people don't litter. They don't, there's no junk everywhere. The streets are clean, and then at nighttime, wow, the place was so serene. Like, I took a walk and I was like, wow. So nighttime was just beautiful. It was serene, it was lovely, great for like evening walks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just something I saw and I resonated with, and I felt like I want to put in writing. But as I was writing, I felt like there's something, I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't be the only one talking about it.
mirrors.
So I wanted to bring it up and talk about it. So what is your take on mirrors?
So for me, I feel like in every phase of life we meet mirrors. Not just in people, like you said, in things. Sometimes your experiences are your mirrors because you attract who you are.
Okay.
Sometimes you find yourself attracting that thing that you believe in, and when a certain thing keeps repeating, it's actually mirroring back to you what is inside you. So you may not realize it at the time, but you're actually mirroring yourself into your space. That's actually the truth about life. Your reality is a mirror of what goes on inside your head. But I would take it back to the very beginning, my first encounter with mirrors. I know someone would say, by me, like, as a child, you should have had mirrors. But I want to call this my first encounter with mirrors because it was my first time actually having to do something intentionally with a mirror. Like an actual mirror. Okay. Yes. So
what did you do? Was it your eyebrows?
No.
Okay. Lashes?
No.
Okay.
So it was back in school. I had this lecturer that piqued an interest in me because of some experiences I had, and he was very curious. So he sat me down, asked a couple of questions, and I answered them as honestly as I could. And then he asked me if I knew that I was beautiful. Now it's not where everyone's mind is going to go to, because
I don't know, my mind is not going anywhere. Where is your mind?
Okay, calm
where
down.
Is your
Naturally,
mind?
Everyone feels like when your lecturer is talking about how beautiful and all that, they're already heading one direction.
Yeah, me. What you say? If you know the song, leave a like, follow the podcast, mention it.
Okay, well, no, it wasn't going that way. So he said if I knew that I was beautiful, and I was hesitant to actually answer that question. Strange, right? And then he now asked another question, if I'd ever really looked at myself before. And I said, no, I hate mirrors.
Wait, do you mean, okay, you never really looked at yourself? That what you meant?
I hated mirrors.
Why did you hate mirrors?
I didn't like what I was looking at.
Okay.
So I would stand in front of a mirror after dressing up, and I would look at the mirror, and just in like 2 seconds, like it's just like this very quick, it's good.
Who is this?
I didn't want to see me. I didn't want to really.
Do you look at your shoes and be like, what are those? That's something.
No, come on. I can see my shoes without the mirror. No, but I mean, it was really something. It was hard for me to look at myself.
So, I like what you said. Sorry if I'm cutting you off. But I remember I had this conversation with someone, and well, not just one person. This is actually something that has happened a couple of times where I feel like we should talk about mirrors. Okay. We look at a mirror as an object, like a thing that we have to look at ourselves and make sure we are okay and all that. And we don't see that when you look into a mirror, you don't just see what is on the physical. You look at yourself, and if you look long enough and deep enough, you start to see not just what your eyes are capturing, but what your mind is capturing, what your heart is capturing.
No, exactly.
So
this thing you're saying.
So sometimes what we don't realize, what we don't like about mirrors, what we don't like about this reflection, whatever it is that is reflecting us to us. Sometimes you might even hate people. Okay, this is a thing. I remember at the time I was, let me call it agnostic. I was going through, I had the phase, and there were these guys. I still don't think that everything they did was okay, but they were very like religious guys, very religious. And at the time, I couldn't fault them for what they were doing, even though some of them, some of what they were doing didn't make sense to me. But I couldn't bash them for the things that I knew that were good.
Yeah.
Because a part of me knew this is what you could have been doing. This is what you could be doing. Right? Going for like fellowships and things like that. Prayer group, Bible study, this and that. Like sometimes I'm like, man, get out, man. I want to just watch a movie. Get out of my room. In school then. And sometimes I would just eavesdrop, like in the space I'll just eavesdrop. Right? Because I'm not a part of your special secret service group, but I respect what you're doing, even though I'm not doing it to the level that you are. So in that time, looking back, or like how I saw it was, I didn't understand it much at the time, but looking back, it looks like I was just not really happy with what they were reflecting of me. Because the fact that you can do this, just like you're a fat guy, right? And you see people working out and you hate seeing those videos. Because you don't really hate seeing those videos. What you are reacting to is the fact that video, that person working out, that person jogging in the morning pisses you off so much because they are doing something that you should be doing.
Yeah, but
they're doing something.
Don't have the discipline to do it.
You don't have the discipline to do what they're doing, so that reflection annoys you because it reminds you you're not where you could be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So sometimes it's other people that you meet and they remind you could be so much more full of life. You could be doing so much more. You could be so much more. You could dress better. You could talk better. You could read more. You could you could impact your world more. One of the saddest things that can happen to you is when you feel like this person is not as good as I am in doing this thing.
True.
But they are doing more.
Exactly.
So it sucks because now the person that you were better in, like maybe school at this thing or that thing, right? Maybe you are the debates president, and they're like a floor member.
Yeah.
But you stopped speaking up. You stopped being a voice. And now
they've gone so far with
they are now like on TV talking about how they went to one village and rescued people because they could speak to them. And they trained this, and you're like, that's the dangerous thing about hating the reflection, because sometimes what you're hating is what you could become. Now the flip side is that you could be hating your reflection because your reflection is carrying something that you need to let go of. Possibly now unforgiveness, shame, guilt. You're looking at now. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're looking at someone, or you're looking at some experience. It might not even be you. For some of us, God forbid, I hope this isn't you, but for some people it's their children.
For a lot of people, actually, it's their children, especially in Nigeria.
So you see someone who grew up, you're timid as whatever, you married somebody because, well, that's the best you could do. Then your son is like, you know what, I'm going to marry that woman. And he's like, this is the one I want. And he's going after it. And you're like, wow, I never had the cojones. I wish I could, have that courage. And he's saying, his dad is telling him, you have to be this, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be an engineer, banker, and he's like, no, I want to be a hyper realistic artist. And then he makes his own way, and you, even though you are contending with him to conform to your will, you are seeing a reflection of yourself, a version of you that could have fought for what he wanted.
I think for some other people, especially when it comes to the parent-child scenario, sometimes you just see your child is reminding you of something you've experienced and you didn't deal with the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I have that. I'm currently trying to help someone out of that kind of scenario right now, and it's not a very pleasant one because I realize it's hard for us to face certain things, you know, especially when it's not the good side of the mirror.
We totally can't.
It's very hard.
Especially if it comes with, you know...
It comes with pain. It comes with, you know, so much hurt. It's like, oh, you have to open up a wound that badly healed, or you just left it to scar up, and now you have to actually reopen it so that it can heal properly. So that's what's going on. You know, like when I had that experience with the lecturer and he said I had to look back into the mirror, I couldn't look into that mirror for at least 2 weeks. He said, look into the mirror. The word of God says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Say it to yourself. And I went back home, and for the first time I tried to look, and each time I met my eye in the mirror, I would look away. It wasn't the face, it wasn't really my look. It was me trying to come to terms with every
version of truth that you
about myself, everything I
what
know, you know,
was true. What you felt was
do you understand? Every belief system that was at play in my head at that time,
told, everything
you know, everything was there looking at me through my eyes, and each time I looked at the mirror, it was looking at me.
But that's how you were fresh now. I saw your throwback, very fresh. So wow.
Wait. So like I said, it wasn't the physical. I said again, it's the belief system that I was working with at the time that was actually affecting me. So it took me a while. I kept looking. I kept trying to, you know, look into the mirror and just, you know, face it. Now it's hard to get me away from a mirror. I enjoy looking at myself. In fact, sometimes I'm even sleeping in front of the mirror. I actually have a mirror in my back.
Okay. So
just
wait, calm down. Guys, this is not the way to be crazy, okay? I won't tell you to be crazy for anything.
No, but
however,
what I mean is that, relax. What I mean is that I have come to accept. In fact, I'm proud of myself for accepting those truths about myself, both the good and the bad. You know, I read a novel once. For all you novel readers, you should try this book. It's the Throne of Glass series. It's amazing. And then, you know, Sarah J. Maas. She's an amazing writer. Yeah, but she also did this, you know, the other one, you know. And then there was this series where she wrote where this lady had to look into. She had to get a very dark mirror. It was very powerful, and she was told to retrieve it. And she had to look into this mirror. And they said everybody that has looked into that mirror has gone mad. Why? And she didn't understand why until she got there and she looked in and she thought she was seeing herself and she saw a beast looking back at herself.
What kind of beast?
A very scary one, you know.
Define scary.
The way the book described it was like supposed to be a lion, but then it had some deformities. You know, it was just very weird.
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking now, I feel like for the guys, I'm asking for the guys because I mean, if you look in the mirror and you see a beast, I mean,
you'll be happy.
You done something right.
You're not serious.
I mean, not. I mean, you get what I mean now.
But this is the lady now. Come on. No, but what I was trying. What I'm trying to say.
Incredible Hulk.
Come on.
Come on.
No, but really though, when she, you know, she at first she thought maybe there was some creature behind her. At first.
Then she realized that she was
looking at her. Yeah, she realized it was her. You know, and she had to come to terms with that this is her. You know, she had to accept the good, the bad, the ugly, every single thing about her. And the beast, you know. And the minute she did that, she was able to retrieve it. So, but aside from that, you know, some of the times, you know, life is amazing. God has orchestrated life in phases. Sometimes you get so lost in, you know, I mean, society has a way of getting you lost in the whole, you get up, wake up, go to work, come back. You know, it's a pattern that if you're working, if you're still young, you actually have this other pattern of, you know, everyone, society's stages of life is school, work, marriage, kids, and what else? Die. You know, you just get lost in all that.
That's for most people, not for me.
No, well, that's because
after that, skydiving.
Oh wow! Come on, bungee jumping?
No, skydiving.
Really? Okay.
That rope can cut. You don't have much time. Skydiving, you have time to think about like this was a bad move.
I don't know, you people that want to kill yourself.
Die with it. No, well, I feel like okay. Let me just tell you my own thing, right? I have this thing where I believe that if you have a fear, this is fear of heights, whatever, come as close to that fear as possible, as close as possible. I'm not saying that you should. I mean, just understand me. I mean, there are some phobias that, man, no, screw that. It's like thalassophobia now.
Yeah.
This guy has the fear of the deep blue, the deep dark.
Trust me, I'm sure almost everybody has that fear.
No, some people feel that I don't have that fear. I want to swim in the water. Okay, all right, no problem. You've not. So what I would say is that sometimes what I do is I see those fears as a kind of mirror. It tells me what I'm afraid of. It tells me that I'm afraid at all. It reminds me that I'm afraid at all. And then at some point I get to rationalize this fear. So for example, the fear of heights. Do you really have the fear of heights, or do you have the fear of falling?
Is it falling? Oh, actually,
it's because everybody wants to be Superman. Everyone wants to fly. So what's your problem? If you're gonna fly, do you think you're just gonna go up like one story? No, you're gonna fly. You're gonna actually fly.
Why are you attacking me in this thing?
No, it's not you. But what I'm trying to say is that you approach your fear with information. So you arm yourself with information. You arm yourself with, statistically look at things. Yeah. The bungee rope could cut and you die.
Okay.
But you could not die there and die.
Okay.
Just
all right.
Walking on the street as someone just drives into you.
But nobody's dying.
So the difference is you make it your choice. So what happened with the mirror for you was you decided to look into that mirror, like the lady in the story. She saw the mirror, she saw the beast. She stared at the beast till she realized that wait, we are making the same moves. Or who knows? She started break dancing with the beast.
No, she was not break dancing.
They don't read the book very well. So the point is you have a choice with the mirror. The mirror, it looks like it's just reflecting, and that's its choice. It can only reflect. You have a choice. I can walk away, or I can stare you down, and I can own my reflection.
Yeah.
When I mean own reflection, it means you know that I move, you move. I do, you do. I become, you are. So at that point, approaching that fear is, with caution. I'm not saying, dive into a den of, I don't know, crazy stuff. Don't go and play with lions because you're afraid of lions. You can die. So the point is, like, with as much logic and rational as possible, come closer to that fear.
Yeah.
And this if it's the fear of heights, go hiking.
Okay, so this
conquer that fear one day at a time.
I will do that. Thank you very much. And I've gone hiking. Thank you.
Mention it. It wasn't for you. Why do you feel threatened?
No, I know, right? You know what you're doing. But okay, but back to this mirror part. So another thing I realize is also, we've talked about mirrors in terms of, things may coming up, reminding you of what you could have been, this, that. Sometimes it sounds like sometimes it comes too late. But you might meet people, they remind you of different things, but maybe they're not very, very important. But there are significant times when you can't get away. There's just this particular maybe person or situation that keeps staring you back in the face. And it's trying to tell you something. Now, at the time, this is the thing about mirrors. It's not always a pleasant experience. True. Especially because of the kind of world we are, where people tend to forget a lot of things about themselves. I'm going to use myself as an example. I met someone one time, and for the first time I was reminded of a me I had forgotten. A me I had, that as a child, that was the me I could remember, this thing, as children, you are like in your best version. It's best you don't forget, all the dreams you had as a kid and everything. And then I meet this person and everything starts to reawaken. Everything starts to come to life. It's like, wow, okay. But it's scary. It's not the most happy of experiences because I'm having to face all the choices that led me to where I am so far away from the dream that I wanted to be.
Okay.
Art, you know, and now I'm facing the reality that my childhood self would see me and not be happy. One. Two, I also have to face the fact that, okay, I'm not that old that I can't trace my steps back, but then I'm going to have to unravel so much to get back to that person that I was supposed to be. That person that my little child wanted to be. Because I've realized something about life, that sometimes our whole life is actually a journey from being a child to being a child again. Actually, even your old age. I mean, what I mean is, even in marriage, you're actually looking for someone you can actually be your inner child.
That is, I think, wow. Okay, sorry, can I just say something?
Yeah.
I just correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I feel like one of the things that is most scary about meeting a mirror of yourself at a certain point in time is that you are at a place now where that version of yourself is almost illegal to exist.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like you have, because a lot of compromise has gone into what you've become as an adult. A lot of let me call it buried dreams. A lot of likenesses, or a lot of character traits that you have that will not manifest outward. And what we really don't realize is that I tell people, I say, when I look at a person, I think about, this person is well put together, this person is all well arranged, and they look well sorted in life.
Yeah.
And I am constantly looking for the child version of that person. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the child version of that person is the most honest version of that person.
Exactly.
That's the most vulnerable version of that person. When I mean vulnerable, I don't mean like I want to hurt them, but I mean that's the version of them that will tell you who they really are.
Yeah.
I'm not acting. I'm not doing this because I'm the director general of this. I'm the boss of this. Or I am, I am the husband, or I am the wife, or I am the, pastor, or I'm the, leader of this. At that point, you meet a version of them that is just them.
Yeah.
Because if you watch children when they play in their groups, when they imagine things, when they come up with ideas, when they sometimes lie when you catch them do something bad, they are showing you they are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
So at that point, they don't know what to hide.
Yes.
They are learning from you. I best not do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
So, you better not catch me doing
like
that.
this. Daddy won't like this. Let's hide this one.
My brother won't like this. My sister won't like this. So they are still learning to hide. So what happens with a lot of us is that we grew up
We've learned to hide so much.
We've learned to hide so much. We've learned to wear masks. So what I find, and I thought about this a while, I used to think, effort is the most amazing thing in one of the most amazing things in a relationship or marriage is that you can be this vulnerable version of yourself with this person, and they don't remove it. They don't remove you from the respect of the position that you are supposed to have. So I respect you as the man of the house. I respect you as the woman of the house.
But you can still be very vulnerable.
You can be vulnerable with me. I can see the fact that, you know what, I know the day, even though you go out with your friends and you drink beer all day or whatever, I know that deep down you just love chocolate milk. There are guys like that. They won't tell you. There are guys that are dating people right now. Yeah. And the hardest thing for them to tell their partner is that I secretly, for example, when I'm really stressed, I like to go hide away and just, maybe bite my nails or something. Like something, a childhood habit that they have, that they've learned to hide because, and then it comes out at the strangest of times, and then everybody's like, what is this? What's going on? Right? So everybody is dealing with a mirror that they are, well, no, I won't say everybody, but like I feel like a lot of people are dealing with mirrors that they are trying to avoid because they cannot see themselves going past all the work they've done.
They can't unravel everything
to be away from that version of themselves or that reflection.
they're not ready to go against.
They're not ready to
society,
go against the grain
everything,
of what they've done.
you know.
Because it's and the thing is, sometimes it's a lot of work.
It is.
Sometimes a mirror can remind you of not just, well, I think things like it's good, but sometimes the mirror can remind you of what you don't want to be anymore, or what you've been before and you don't want to go back. So now you are fighting with a different version of your mirror now, of yourself.
Yeah, like when the person I met, and I couldn't shake this person off from my life. So at first it was terrible, you know. All the hurts in my life, you know, everything came out raw, not because this person is intentionally triggering it. No, it's just that unconsciously, in trying to show me who I could become, I had to deal with who I had become.
Wow.
You know. And all that was just wounding me. It was like a lot of injuries and scars.
Was it like a when you say wounding you now, does it, I don't want to say it's like they hit you with 2x4. was it like rude awakening?
Yes, the word rude, very perfect, because I was not expecting it.
Just like you're sleeping and they pour you water, just wake up.
It's not, I wish it would just pour you water. It's more like they carried you and they put you inside one furnace, you know, and you woke up in the middle of the furnace and you're like, how far now? And you want to get out and someone is pulling you back inside. The person's like, let's walk through this furnace, and you're no.
Why is the person not afraid of getting burnt?
Because
the human touch.
No, perhaps I was meant to be immune to this kind of fire.
Wait, where are you from again?
Calm down.
Edo people, please. You're
not serious.
She's not from Edo State.
Okay, let's get out. Okay, perhaps I'm becoming poetic, but you get what I mean. I mean, so I started to face all these things about myself. I started to have to face all the injuries I've had, you know, accumulated over the years, one by one. Healing, it has taken me a long while to go through every single part of it, but now I look back at this mirror and it's easy to look.
That means you've come a long way. Exactly.
But at the time it was hard, but now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful. You know, because I'm no longer far from that person.
Yeah, you're not as far as you used to be.
As I used to be. So now I've made so much progress.
Yeah, and something about just like walking. When you see a place is far, I mean, the people that walk, you get what I mean. When you are walking a distance and it looks far, you start walking, and then you get to a point that you're like, when you look back and see that what is behind you is more than what is in front of you. It's like it's not so far anymore.
Yeah,
let's
it feels good.
We're almost there.
It feels like, wow, I did it. Yeah. I'm doing it. You know, I'm on my way. Yeah. So that's how it is. So I'm going to encourage someone out there. I'm going to encourage someone out there. You know, it's not easy. I was talking to some of my colleagues some time ago. I was talking about the fact that you should talk to people with respect and all that, because everyone is dealing with trauma and all that. And that's one thing. I want to bring out the second part of that sentence, and that is everyone has some kind of trauma, some level of trauma, something. It may not be so visible.
The craziest thing is some people don't even know
that they have
that what they are doing is trauma based.
Yeah,
like you think is
you just tell yourself,
no, you're crazy.
In fact,
you are crazy.
There's this thing, you know, there are different reactions to it. Some they start to hurt others, some they seclude themselves, they isolate
some turn into
so much
healers.
You know, so yeah, they're healing you but they're bleeding.
Yeah, because they've not healed themselves.
That's the problem. You know, they're bleeding. So there are different reactions to trauma, and whether you're isolating or you're healing people or you are hurting people, which I would ask you to stop, please, but either ways, I would ask you to take a moment and look at yourself. Look at yourself You know, when David was saying something in the Bible about the fact that he used to examine himself, you know, he said, examine me. He asked God to examine him, and he talks about the fact that he examined himself as well. I think that was that Psalm 23 or 24 or something. Yeah, it should be 22. Yeah. Sorry, pardon me. I've not reached pastor level yet.
No, it's not 23. That one I can tell you for sure.
No, it's not 23. Yeah, that's
I'm sure
not
that.
but yeah, no, and it's not 24.
I'm very sure.
I think it should be 22.
It can be 22.
Yeah, but he was talking about the fact that
Look at me. I know what I'm saying. Yay.
He was talking about, you know, this God examining him, and he gave us an important lesson for life, and that is, you need to look.
You need to look.
You need to look. It's very important to look. Whether it's a person that is showing you, stop and think, what is this person trying to show me? They may not even know that they are trying to show you something. They're just acting. They're just living their life, but they are a mirror that you have to pass through. And if you don't face it, I promise you will still see it again. You might run, you will meet another person that will reflect the same thing to you. Until that's one thing about life. Until you learn a particular lesson, it's gonna keep coming back. It's gonna keep coming back. So please, at whatever point in life you find yourself and something is reflecting something to you, you need to take time and examine it. What is this thing trying to tell me? Is there something I need to unlearn or relearn? Is there something I need to go back to, or something I need to run from? You know, you need to check, because at that point there's a reason why it is there at that time, and it might be the best time for you. And even if you're a parent and it's your child that is reflecting it to you, I don't believe that child is intentionally reflecting it so that you get hurt. And I don't think life is being cruel to you. I feel like
doesn't need to know that it's reflecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
It just does it.
You just does it.
That's what it does.
But I feel like even for a parent, when you see your child doing that, I don't think it's time for you to be angry with that child. I think there are two things you can do at that point. You can either, you know, guide the child properly, or you yourself retrace your steps. It's possible that you still have a chance to fix something about your life. It's possible that things are not as late as you think they are. You might feel like, I'm already old, what. It's possible that thing is coming at that time to tell you that you've still got a chance to redo things.
Yeah. Wow. I want to just add something, I think, to wrap this up, because you've dropped so many wonderful points. I don't think I want to overflog this, but I want to add something. I'll leave it as something to think about. Maybe another podcast I'm going to talk on. That person you hate, that person you dislike, that person you look down on, that person you stereotype, that person you label, that person you talk down on, or I've said that before. That person or those people you've classified, maybe of a different religion, tribe, ethnicity, whatever. I've said tribe, I've said ethnicity. Yeah, just showing my tiredness. But that person, those people are a reflection of something within you. Something that I respect so much. I saw this post. The guy was talking about how his father hates Wole Soyinka. He hates him, he hates his work and everything, but his father reads. He's an avid reader, and he reads a lot of his works. And then his son was like, Dad, if you hate this guy so much and why are you reading his stuff? And his father said, because I have to be informed about what I am going to hate.
That's very deep.
I had to. I looked at that and it made me think, and I'm going to talk about this, and it's probably a separate episode. I realized that, for example, in Nigeria here, there is a lot of what is going on is people not realizing that the reflections are all around them, and we are not paying attention. The person you are pointing fingers at, saying, oh, this person, this, that, they're crazy people from that side, these people are this, the south is this, the north is this, the west is this, the east is this. We don't realize that the south is a reflection of the north. It's a reflection. Now, what it means, the reflection is that left is right, right is left. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. When you move, when you blink at your reflection, if you close your eyes at your reflection, both of you are not seeing. I'm not saying that the alternate dimension of the image can see, but what I'm trying to say is that you can't see, your image can't see, except of course your image is a juju spirit. So they're looking at opposites of each other, and where one is one side, the other is a reflection on the other side. The mirror is always going to be a flip of the other side. You can write, for example, a letter 6 and or flip, put it with a mirror, and then depending on where you put the mirror, you get a different thing. You get a 9, you get a B, you get a P, whatever. So the mirror is going to reflect that at different points in time. So I just want to end this episode saying that person, that thing, those people that you look down on, you hate, what is it that they are reflecting for you to learn? And don't be an uninformed person looking into a mirror. Go into your day having a blessed one. It has been a very awesome episode. Again, thank you so much, Juliet. You are just so God bless you. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay awesome, stay blessed. Share this with someone. You can listen on YouTube now. All the podcast episodes are on YouTube for you to listen to. If you don't have a Spotify, if you have a Spotify, it's fine. You can follow. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Stay blessed till next time. It's been Salim Mohammed Tarfa, the Fizzy. Peace.